All right, boys and girls, welcome back. Sam's Army episode 2.211. We got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to start with headlines. We got Brazilian match fixing to talk about. AC Milan and Mauricio Pochettino. Weekly What If, care of our friend Mitchell Goulet. A little soccer versus football action. Premier League, Death of Dreams, as well as City's place in the Pantheon. Rest of world, U20s. We got the World Cup coming up, Champions League preview and predictions. And then lastly, we got championship check-in. And then, of course, stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best bets, where the overtrain is cooking and cooking hard, and as well as everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now it is time to welcome in these beauties here with me this week. We had a couple last minute exits. Mikey had a work thing. Tommy is basically half asleep, half dead from his trip from Tampa. And Tyler is still on a trip of self-exploration somewhere, God knows where. But we got plenty of good stuff here. We got Tweedle A, actually the only Tweedle this week, Mitchell Goulet, aka Overtime Mitch, who had himself quite the emotional weekend. So, Mitch, as a form of, as therapy, can you walk us through sort of the highs and lows and how you coped with this weekend?
The morning was tough. Yeah, watching that go down. You knew chances were slim going into it as well, and then for us to do that was disheartening is not the right word for it. Crushing doesn't really seem fitting either. It fucking sucked. You kind of knew it was coming though. It was a slow burn, which will lead us into you're gonna ask me how I feel as a season. It's gonna be my same answer. This whole thing was a slow burn. We kind of saw it coming. And then Sunday afternoon, spirits picked right back up. I was on my way back from a candle making class with my mom for Mother's Day because I'm a good son, and missed the first half, but caught the second half. That's what was important. And I'm surprised it took us that long because that Philly team, I'm surprised it hasn't imploded yet. Bunch of idiots over there in Philly. Celtics in 5 in this next series, though.
Well, we'll get to our Heat fan in just a second. You really are a good son. If you skip the whole first half of a Game 7 Celtics game for
And I left early in the second half of Arsenal's game. I had to drive quite a bit to get to this candle making class that lasted like 15 minutes. It was class is even not the right word. I picked out a couple flavors and they let me eat them, and then I poured it in, and like that was it. And I didn't even get to go home with it. That's the thing. Like it took 3 hours to chill. She was like, "Yeah, you can come back later," and I'm like, "I'm all set. I'll get it some other time."
Yeah, some other time, quote unquote.
They scheduled Mother's Day on the day that the two biggest sporting events of my life. Grow up.
Ridiculous.
It's the first time Mother's Day's ever been on that day.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Terrible. Just terrible. Well, I hope your mom appreciated it. I'm sure she did. Well, our resident Heat fan, who you guys know well at this point, Dalton Kemper, our editor extraordinaire, and he does all sorts of podcasting on his own as well. So go check out all those. What are they called, by the way, Dalton?
USMNT Thots podcast is the main one. So check that one out. Follow me on Twitter,
all the good stuff. So here is your question. So you are a St. Louis City fan when it comes to MLS.
Yeah.
So, obviously the developing of hatred and rivalries and everything, it takes a little time if you want it to be authentic. Right now, at this point, do you hate more Sporting Kansas City or Chicago Fire?
See, I've always had a burning, I wouldn't say burning, but a pretty deep hatred of any Chicago sports teams when St. Louis plays them, especially when you look at the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry. Everyone knows the Kansas City one is like more of like a city to city rivalry than a sports one. If I had to pick one, what team I disliked more, it would probably be Sporting Kansas City, because they talk a lot of shit, especially before the season started, and then almost threatened to file a lawsuit against the St. Louis City fan podcast because it was like the soccer capital podcast, and Kansas City is now trying to take the soccer capital of America moniker leading up to the 2026 World Cup. So they're basically suing anyone from St. Louis who uses it. And it's pretty ridiculous. So I find them to be quite annoying right now, especially when their team is still last place in MLS. Are they still? Yes, they are still last place in MLS. So yeah, I find them to be quite annoying right now.
Okay. All right. So long term, though, you stick with Kansas City as the biggest rival, or I've sort of, because as somebody who has roots in St. Louis and lives in Chicago, I've sort of wondered where this rivalry is going to go or whether it's going to be one. So I'm sort of interested to hear what your thoughts on that.
I think it's gonna be Kansas City mostly. Because no offense, like Sam, but there's a lot more there's a lot more like fan distaste there, I think. But I think it's gonna be Kansas City, but I think every game between St. Louis and Chicago is also gonna have like that feel of like we don't like you. So I think it could be both, but I think it's gonna be more Kansas City.
Well, I was at the St. Louis Chicago game this weekend, and it seemed like there was some actual animosity there, and I actually like that.
Anytime those two cities come together, like I still hate Chris Bryant because he called St. Louis boring. So like that's gonna I don't like that guy, especially after he said that. So
fair, that's fair. Okay, let's move on to headlines. So first up, this is a big one. It's early days, but this could be huge. So we got ourselves a massive match fixing scandal that is going down in Brazil at the moment, and who knows how big it's going to get. So it's a developing situation, but the gist of it is that 16 people, including 7 professional soccer players, were charged last week with fixing matches and illegal gambling, essentially. So the report I read, it involved 13 matches in Serie A and B. That's the top 2 leagues in Brazil. And basically, what happened here is, they would offer players an upfront, payment to get involved, which I think essentially gets you, you're caught at that point. But they said they offered players about $100,000 to get involved, and then they would offer them a little bit more for, certain things here and there. I saw there was one match where they were supposed to throw the game. They're supposed to be down at halftime. And the team, I can't remember what it was, they were down 0-2 at halftime. I know some other situations where guys were offered like $10,000 to get a yellow card in a match. So, there's probably going to be more coming from this, but already MLS has been looped into it. A player for Colorado Rapids, Max Alves, who was playing in Brazil up until last year, he was one of the players charged. He's been, suspended from team operations, and who knows where that will go. But just a crazy, crazy situation. Mitch, I know you got some thoughts here.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. So if you're going to run a illegal betting scandal, why are you hinging all of these results or all of your money making on results? You should be betting props, betting cards, throw-ins, number of passes, or just shit like that. If you're going to get players involved, don't make the most important stat in the match, which is the score line, the most pivotal in making you money. You can make money, and that's what's in the public eye. People watch this and see, oh, that something's a little off about how that guy's defending, or he really wasn't going for goal there. It's easy to get a yellow card. People do it every day. Go bet somebody to get a yellow card. I think it's people like aiming too big for scandals and schemes like this, whereas you need to just keep it down low. There's a bunch of scandals going on that we're not talking about because they're good at it. They just got caught. And it was in the Premier, or the first and second division of Brazil. Come on. I know that's where the money is, but like start out low. Maybe in the second division. You can't be messing around with the Premier, the first division of Brazilian football.
What I have to say here is that you clearly put some thought into this, Mitch, and it sounds like you actually have a plan that if things go a certain way and your life goes in a certain direction. I'm going to ask
Dalton to edit this out. Yes, if things go a certain way, yeah, and if the comes knocking, neither of you know shit. But I just think there are best practices to running a match fixing scandal, and they're clearly not followed here.
Fun fact about me, Mitch, I play in the 3rd division in Norway. So if you're looking to get in a little something, I could be
the key here, throw-ins. That's the throw-ins and corners. and stuff like that. I
Corner
think that's where Mitch is
spread,
going.
just little.
Didn't the
props
guy?
like that.
Didn't the guy on the Rapids? Wasn't the thing he did get a yellow card like immediately, like within a couple of minutes of getting in the game? Right? I
Yeah,
thought.
almost immediately after he got in the game. It was like within 90 seconds, he got a yellow card.
He's like, I got to do this quick. Got to get this money quick.
He's clearly not seasoned in the art of,
No, you got to hide it a little better. Yeah, pick your players too. Don't just offer a blanket offer of like, hey, Hunter Rax, come join our scheme. No, like hand select these guys, hand select the shadiest dude you can know. Guys that don't talk all that much to the media, that just go out there and do their business. Like, you got to be better about this, Brazil. Come to me and we'll work something out if you guys get out of this.
you can run a little side. You can run a profitable little side hustle, I think, here.
I don't think I'm gonna run it. I think I'm just gonna advise.
Right. Be a consultant in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a consultant because nobody knows what the fuck they do anyway. So
all right. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it doesn't get just too widespread, but we will see. Next up we got Milan. So they came into this weekend's game against relegation contender Spezia, reeling off of an 0-2 loss versus Inter in Champions League that obviously has them fighting for their lives in the week to come. But they were still in a pretty good spot to finish top 4 in Serie A. Well, that took a big hit this weekend when they lost at Spezia again 0-2. And on the heels of that, there was this really interesting situation. I don't think it's unprecedented, but you certainly don't see it very often, where the team went over to the traveling fans. And Milan's what do they call them, the Curva Sud, like their ultras are they're well known, but the team in mass went over to the traveling section, and basically they just stood there in a group while, I don't know if it was the several people or just one person in the ultras group, basically I assume gave them a verbal talking to and spanked them. And it was really interesting because they stood there without, sort of kind of expressionless, kind of I don't know, in a form of a way of obedience, listening. It was just really strange. I don't know. What did you think, Dalton?
It reminded me of in high school when you wouldn't stop talking to your friend and the teacher was out in the hallway right now. And then they take you out there and you're just sitting there straight faced while the teacher's either yelling at you or giving you a very strong talking to. That's what it reminded me of. Yeah. It was so weird. And why? I understand probably why the Milan players did it, because they probably get in deep shit with the ultras and they try to make their life hell if they didn't listen to them, which sucks, by the way. But it's a really weird thing, because now the ultras feel like they should have a voice on everything. And it opens the door of the Tottenham thing. Do you refund tickets? Now, right. Oh, when we get our ass beat, we get yelled at by the ultras. We have to go let them let them yell at us before we can go to the locker room. It's weird. Not a fan of it, but it is the visual is very funny.
It's definitely an interesting visual. Yeah. And I think there's something to be said for it, right? The whole idea, the concept of a club, it's more than just the fans, it's more than just the players, it's more than just the ownership. It's this whole collective. And so there's aspects of it that I like and I respect. But yeah, it's also opening Pandora's box and becomes sort of a slippery slope and all that sort of jazz. What do you think, Mitch?
The sentiment is definitely there. They want to bridge the gap between players and fans, but I can't imagine there's too much productive discourse going on there. No. Maybe there's you let some of the ultras ask questions at media. I don't know what the actual practice is that makes that better. Agree that the visual's hysterical because they are just standing there with a deadpan face and listening to them getting reamed out. It feels weird. And yeah, I don't think anything was said there that either the Milan players didn't already know or weren't already feeling. It didn't seem like the time and the place. There is a time and the place. It's not that.
You're not going to get
Olivier Giroud probably walked away. He walked away and was probably you know what? They were right. We should absolutely try and win on Tuesday. That's a good idea.
Right, guys. If we want to win, it's on us. That kind of shit. Yeah.
The ultras are right.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get much tactical insight from that type of thing. But
what actual tactical insight do you have? against for losing 2-0 to Spezia, who is at the bottom of the barrel. Like, play better.
Yeah.
Game's over now. What
Don't suck.
What more do you have to say?
Stop sucking, essentially. I mean, that's basically, I'm sure, what they said. Like, stop sucking and, win on Tuesday. That's basically what it boiled down to. But yeah, interesting situation. Finally, last headline, one that I would really rather not talk about, to be honest. But Maurizio Pochettino is essentially, it sounds like it's almost a done deal at this point. He's going to Chelsea, taking over from legendary manager Frank Lampard 2.0. So, this is, I don't know, this feels gross to me. It just feels gross. But at the same time, like, I certainly can't really hold it against Pochettino. Like, Tottenham fired him. The players gave up, on him. So it's just like, I feel like the fans like me are kind of in a really weird spot where we love, but at least I'll just speak for myself. I love Pochettino. I mean, he did things at Tottenham that I was not, I didn't know that we'd ever make a Champions League final. In fact, before he got there, I didn't know that we'd like be fighting for a top four like every single year. So he was involved with the evolution of the club to a certain extent, and I'll always love him for it. But yeah, this is definitely going to change things a little bit.
You guys broke up, and now she's a new man, and you don't like it, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you still love her, but it does. Those are some feelings that you have to work through by yourself.
It is,
and it's time for you to move on too, Sam. It's time for you to move on too.
I have not moved on. I will hopefully move on at some point. It's gonna hurt a little bit. It's gonna hurt a little bit, and I'm not past that yet. I'm not through it. I'm going to focus on Arsenal not winning the championship for a little while. And then, when it becomes official that Pochettino is the coach of Chelsea and he coaches a game for Chelsea, then it'll become real. Then when we play Chelsea, then it'll become really real. And at that point, I'll probably get over it. That's probably when it'll like, okay, when he's trying to beat Tottenham playing for, coaching Chelsea, that's when it'll probably become, okay, fine.
Let's dig really deep here. Are you going to be rooting for him to be fired within like 2 months, or are you going to be rooting for him to succeed just enough to like stay in the job, be really successful? Do you want him to just go and fly, or just like come?
No, I hope he gets fired quickly.
Okay, all right, I thought so.
Let's be honest. I hope it's through maybe no fault of his own, which I don't know how that happens, but yeah, I hope it ends quickly, which is possible. Chelsea fires managers almost as fast as Watford, so we'll see. I don't like it though. I don't like it. I think he's a great manager, so I don't think he's going to get fired right away. But yeah, he's walking into a pretty toxic situation, obviously. So
wasn't the knock on him at PSG was that he just couldn't handle that locker room? And like, I understand Chelsea's not PSG. There's a lot of players in there you got to try and satisfy right now that just got bought for a lot of money. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I guess
that would probably go for just about anybody who's not named like Zizou. Like Zidane could probably walk in there and people would have to respect him. But other than that, like, who's going to go in there? Like Nagelsmann, you think a guy like that could walk? I just don't think that there's too many coaches at this point that could walk into that dressing room in Chelsea with the number of egos they got there, or PSG, and not sort of, get some criticism for not being able to massage all of the egos at once. I mean,
that's fair. That is fair. Yeah.
I could do anything though. All right, let's go weekly what if. So shout out to our very own Mitchell Goulet for this one. And he admits that it was a 5-second thought process. So if you can poke holes in this question, that's fair. That's fair enough. How many weeks or months or years would it take the 11 best soccer players in the world? How long would they have to train to beat an average Division I American football team in a game of American football? So basically, drops. We don't have to go through every position, but maybe drop some names and how long you think it would take for a team of soccer players. Because this is turning the normal question on its head, right? Everybody's always like, how long would it take for American athletes to be good at soccer? So let's turn it the other way around. I like the question. Mitch, you asked it. So what are your thoughts here?
I'll provide some parameters for this. Couple things. We are talking about an average Division football team, we are not talking about anybody that's ranked. These are a bunch of dudes that can play. And keep in mind that these 11 players, I was kind of only thinking about offensive positions. They're going to get washed on defense, but like, fuck it, let's call it 22 players. And we need offense and defense. If you want to drop some players, drop what position they would play as well. But how long would that group of 22 players have to train to beat this Division I American football team? I think it's like 6 or 7 months.
Oh, wow. You're going to go less than a year.
I think less than a year. Yep. We're talking about, American football training. They're no longer doing soccer training. That means they're doing American football weightlifting. That means they're in drills. They're learning plays. These are elite athletes, right? These are guys at the absolute pinnacle of their athletic performance. You don't think they can beat a bunch of fucking college kids with some coaching?
So here's my thing, and I say the same thing. I say the same thing the other way around, right? Kicking a soccer ball, because you can watch one of the greatest athletes in the world try and kick a soccer ball. If they've not done that when they were growing up, it's bad. It's bad.
It's ugly.
And so the thing about soccer players is it doesn't go for all of them, but the guys and girls who haven't played, say, basketball or played American football, or they can't catch.
The mechanics are off,
right? So they can't throw.
How many keepers are in that 22? How many keepers are you including?
You're gonna have to have some.
Guys like Ederson. Are you including Allison?
But they don't have the speed though that you need, as far as we know. I don't know if I'm taking any keepers. Maybe one at quarterback that can throw. Maybe one that can throw, just because they're the ones on the soccer field that throw.
I suppose that's the most important question. Who's your quarterback, or at least what position does your quarterback play?
I mean, I just off the top of my head, I would probably go Ederson, just based on how good of an athlete he is and the fact you got to assume he knows how to throw.
Where does De Bruyne fit in, if at all? Because if there's one guy with the vision to hit a runner and can lead a ball, like, tell me Kevin De Bruyne on 6 months of throwing a football can't find a pass.
No chance.
Seriously?
No way.
Seriously?
I'd love to see him try and throw football.
I would love to see. I would actually like to see that. If Kevin De Bruyne has any, like, a single thread of football, American football, like, ability at all, I would be shocked. But also, I'd be impressed.
I might put Harry Kane at quarterback. He loves American football. He probably has thrown. Yeah, he's probably thrown some pigskin around. I might go Harry Kane at quarterback. And Sam's loving that. He's smiling so hard right now.
Baseline. Yeah, I think he has the highest baseline of American football ability. I would still I don't even think I'd put Kane in my 22.
Oh. Well, that's the Arsenal fan speaking. Who's your wide receiver one? Who's your wide receiver one? No, who is? I said, who is your wide receiver one? I think for me, it might be Holland.
Zaha.
That's true. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'd still go Holland because he's got the height and speed.
Holland at tight end for me.
Okay.
Like more of a Gronk like type.
Yeah. Who's your running back? Keep in mind, we can go outside the Prem too. I'm kind of.
I was thinking of who's the I'm blanking on his name, but the little Wolves, not little, but the Wolves.
Adama Traore?
Yeah, Traore. I feel like Traore.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a great shout.
I was going to say Salah because he is shredded and can stay on his feet very well. Very good balance, which is important for a running back. So Salah's in there with that too.
He's a Wes Welker slot receiver for me. Definitely.
He's getting pummeled. One little route over the middle, and he takes a shoulder from an actual, like, American football player. He's on the side.
But this isn't an NFL player. This is a, like, Toledo.
This isn't
this is a college kid, but, like, I take a hit from an NFL player. I'm 6'2", and I don't think I'm a small person, but I take a hit, and it's like,
yeah,
I'm sucking one on the side for the rest of the game.
True,
I think Mo Salah's taking that. I don't know.
He's got
maybe we stick Zaha on defense.
Yeah, he could be a corner.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of center backs are basically going to be your defenders, like the
line.
Sergio Ramos's, Koulibaly's, the Konates, like just some big
Dan
Van
Burn.
Dyke. There you go. Van Dyke.
The big dudes.
Yeah.
Let's get some Van Dykes out there.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to take like years and years and years. Because I say the same thing about, because I say the same thing about when, LeBron, LeBron, how long would it take him to play soccer? He would have to start when he was 5 or 4. I mean, like, it's a different sport and it's different mentality, it's different sort of mechanics. So I
think you underestimate the ability to learn from a professional athlete, gross motor skills. True. I think if they are coachable and they're willing and they're dedicated to a training program and they decide to, take that 6 months, because it is only going to take 6 months, and really dedicate themselves to getting good at American football, I think they could do it.
I was going to go a year. I was going to say, I didn't think it was going to be less than a year, but I think I agree with what you're saying as far as these are the best of the best athletes, and they have the skills of the footwork, the balance. A lot of the fundamentals are there. It's just the hands part,
Yeah.
Here's a counter argument to this. Is so there's the Chad Johnson, right? So he is, he's a world-class athlete. Obviously,
hey, we'll see him in a couple of weeks.
That's right, we will. But he's been playing soccer forever, and he's not good.
No, he still looks awkward on the ball. Yeah,
he's still not good. But he's an incredible athlete, and I see, as far as I can tell, he wants to be a good soccer player. So, I don't know if he actually played as a little kid or if he was just an incredible athlete who just decided, you know what, I'm going to try and play soccer. But that always sticks in my mind that if he had started when he was 5, he would be an incredible soccer player, but he's not.
Maybe the real answer to this is just that soccer players are better athletes.
I think maybe that's it. I think maybe that's
fair.
Let's go with that. Yeah. We can all agree on that. Finally, we can all agree on. Well, something else we can all agree on. The title race is basically
hell of a segue.
That was mean. I'm sorry. Well, listen, I've got some nice things to say about Arsenal at some point, but I won't start with them. So we'll go in Premier League here. That game, and we'll start with it was not the last game of the weekend because that was Liverpool Leicester, which was even sadder, to be honest. But the Brighton Arsenal game was the game of the weekend, just in terms of sort of high profile and everything. I did not see that coming. I did not see that game coming at all. I knew Brighton was going to give Arsenal a good game, but to win 3-0 and Arsenal just didn't really show up. It was interesting. Mitch, we sort of teased it before, but what are your thoughts here?
It was the badass straw that broke our camel's back. We didn't really expect to get the Brighton that lost 5-1 to Everton the week before. I wish we had that Everton that played City, but that's a different conversation. We knew that they were going to give us a game. I don't think anybody actually expected 3-0. That it was a little legitimizing of all of the talk of wow, City are that much better and deserving, if you want to use that word, of winning this season. I still don't mark this season as a failure or loss. I think the team has not hit its ceiling.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh no, I've come to terms with it now. Mathematically, I'm not gonna play that game. But I see a ton of really, really negative opinions on how this season ended. And it is how it ended because of the crazy recency bias that if you have a big moment at the end of your season, it's a massive success. But if you kind of crash and burn towards the end of your season, it's a failure. As a whole, this season was excellent. 9 out of 10. City's season was 10 out of 10. How that goes.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah, they're good. The game itself was, like I said, I only watched the first half because I had to go make candles. But the game itself, from the get-go, we didn't really look like we were in it.
You didn't miss anything. The second half was even probably more frustrating
what I heard,
from your perspective. Yeah, 3-0. I just go for it, dog.
I agree with you, and I wanted to talk about that too, Mitch, that I've seen a lot of people online that are like, Arsenal can't forgive themselves for this. They bottled this, blah, 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 all the different things. And as a Liverpool fan, being in a title race with City, you slip up once, it's over. You literally cannot make any mistakes whenever it's Man City chasing you. And I'm also a big proponent of just because you're not going to win the title, doesn't mean it can't be a successful season, because I'm sure you've had a lot more fun watching Arsenal this year than you have in how many years prior?
Yeah, I mean, this season was a net positive. This was so good. I've introduced people to Arsenal this season, and
Yeah.
they've like, holy shit, this is football? Like, this is what we can expect? And I'm like, no. But if we can get it now, we can enjoy it while it lasts.
I have a friend who just started rooting for Arsenal this year, and I'm like, enjoy it.
Yeah,
This
relish
is
in
what
this
it's about.
right now. You will not get this type of a feel. Well, maybe we will. We're not going to get this kind of a season for a little while longer. So yeah, get your negative emotions out on the internet where everything is pure, and kind of process it and understand that the ceiling is the roof for this team, and we haven't hit it.
So the thing that I took away from this game, and you actually touched on it, was that it just hammered home how good the City team is. The Brighton Arsenal game somehow hammered home how good City was, how consistent they are, just how
that's transcendent. That's crazy when you're watching two teams play a game and you're thinking about the third. Like that is,
and none of the three are your team. It's just how good they've been over the course of the season, because Arsenal was so good. Like, they were the best team. They were at the top of the table for a reason, for a long time. And yeah, now we can say that they bottled and all that, but over the course of the season, they didn't bottle anything. Like, you guys had an incredible season, and this Arsenal team, as we were talking about last week, is really good. I mean, this is a really good Arsenal team. And yet, City is just on a different level. And you can say, well, you know what, they've spent money, and they've spent next level money, and there's some truth to that. I guess the question is, how good is this City team? Like, if they will go ahead and win the treble, which is, I'm sure they're probably favored to win all of the tournaments at this point.
Talking about it,
yeah. So, like, if they win the treble, where do they rank in the pantheon of all-time great teams? Like, are they number one? Do they feel like they could be or should be number one, Dalton?
That's some more recency.
I don't think they're one. The one team that comes to my mind that they're not better than is the Barcelona Champions League winning team with MSN up top and Xavi and all that whole team. I'd take that team over City right now. I'm trying to think if I would take. I think they're the best Premier League team of all time.
So you take them over that Manchester United treble winning team?
Yeah, I think this City team is just different. I think they're the best Premier League team of all time. I would still take that Barcelona team over them.
Barcelona
maybe it's close though.
Was comprised of like iconic footballers from back to front, whereas the City team is not. Or I mean, I guess in hindsight that Barcelona team is, but currently like this City team is the best at getting the desired result. That Barcelona team was the sexiest bunch of footballers ever composed on one field. Like, that was an iconic team that we'll talk about culturally. This City team doesn't have the cultural significance of that, but fuck, they can kick a ball in a net,
Yeah. They don't have, there's something, what's the right word? Inauthentic. I don't know if that's right, but basically, because
they're robots, that part.
Well, one of them is, but the fact that this City team is so good, but there's something about it that they've been put together using a lot of money, a ton of money, whereas Barcelona,
100+ financial fair play violations.
There's some question marks there. We'll see. But Barcelona was obviously put together, making a lot of money as well. But it seems like they had some more, and I could be completely wrong on this. It could just be my perception is way off. But in my mind, it's sort of like they had this, this youth movement that sort of came into it as well. Whereas City just feels like they grabbed a bunch of players, the best ones from all over, using, who knows how much money. And there's just something that it feels less organic, which, it would be easy to poke holes in that argument, probably.
We're closer to this City team right now, we can look back in 5-10 years and think about, and you're not going to remember the price tags of players. You're going to remember the goals and the moments and the De Bruyne passes. And but I agree that it does feel like a bit of a collection of players as opposed to a team.
And maybe that's just 2023 versus,
Yeah.
2008 or whatever. Okay. Any other?
Can we get Brighton their flowers real quick?
We should.
I've been saying for the past months, if I'm voting manager of the year, I'm voting Zerbi. And I know some people go, well, Potter had that team in a good spot before he left. Like, it was clearly a good group of players. I don't care. This team did not look like this under Graham Potter. This team, same collection of players, minus Trossard, actually, one of the better players on that team. Zerbi has transformed this team into probably my favorite team to watch right now. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Like, Brighton's must watch for me just because of the way they play, and it's beautiful. So Brighton, it's incredible. I would go Zerbi manager of the year. There's so many candidates, but he's my manager of the year for sure.
That's fair. And I think you also have to throw in the fact that he basically came in midstream. And not only did he somehow manage to keep the train on the tracks, but it seems like he put on some muscle and amplified the whole everything. So like the whole.
We're talking about Brighton muscle. You seen their physios?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Christ.
There's something going on at Brighton.
They are in my 22 football players.
Yes.
I'm not picking soccer players. I'm picking those physios.
That's a good point. I should have thought about that myself. I'm glad you brought Brighton up because they do deserve some credit. Like they just what are they in 6th, I think, right now? I mean, they're not going to catch Liverpool or United, but like could be
Europa. Europa's good for them. That's
good year. Hopefully they take Europa. Hopefully Villa gets Europa Conference League and get Spurs the fuck out of Dodge.
Hopefully Tottenham gets Conference League.
Just get us out of there. Let's see. So any other games? I mean, like the relegation. So at this point, all the relegation threatened games are going to be must watch, and they were all very interesting this weekend. Like the
big point from Leeds on the weekend.
Yeah, Leeds coming up with a point against Newcastle. Nottingham Forest did the same against Chelsea.
Southampton will say
yeah, they're gone. Goodbye. Everton, they didn't really. I mean, they fought hard for about 25 minutes.
That last week's team show up. It was like I had like a fleeting hope too for the first 30 minutes of that game, and then they went in back to back, and it's like, all right, I'm done. Come on, Everton.
That was some of those 3 City goals were like. Is that the sexiest collection of goals in a game this year?
That Gundogan goal was like,
both
I'm
of
still
his
not
and
even
then that
sure how
header.
He thought about that. It was just like, I'm gonna flick it.
Good.
Like,
I think it's played up because of the manner in which City score a lot of their goals is often sexy. That was a good goal. Let's not pretend that like Giroud hasn't done that 17 times over in his career, or that was like so good, Haaland doesn't best that every week. It was a lovely touch and a creative finish, and I think that's the only descriptions I'm going to give for it. It was a good goal. It was nowhere near like I heard Puskas nominee. Shut up. Oh
this is a guy who's been hurt recently, Sam.
He's been will hurt. Be again. But the highlight poster in me, which I get paid to do, is it was a good goal.
This is coming from a place of pain. I can tell. It's deep. The last game, which was the last game of the week, Leicester. Oh my God, this looks like a team that is like resigned to their fate at this point. That was one of the sadder
This could have
performances.
been 5.
It should have been. It really should.
Should have been 5.
I said it last week that I think Leicester's going down. After watching this game, I have no doubt in my mind that Leicester is going to be out of there, which is so crazy. They won the league less than 10 years ago. That is insane.
Apart from like the obvious result of this game, one of my takeaways is that Gakpo looks so lost out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on now.
He
No,
could. He
This
could.
game was not one of his best, but recently he's looked really good.
Or then maybe I'm judging off this. He looked lost on this game, but
This game was not one of his better ones.
I don't know. He was fighting the 007 allegations earlier in the season. And,
Now he has more goals and assists than Anthony, who's been here all year and is a fidget spinner.
I don't
There
rate
we
Anthony either. That dude.
There we go. A Liverpool fan coming out. Best defense is a good offense. All right. Well done. Well done. Let's just get into the power picks. So power predictions, power rankings is gone. Power predictions is here. So we're going to give who we actually think are going to finish top 4 and bottom 3. At this point, obviously, we have a lot of these positions locked in at this point. City top. I don't think even Mitch is going to argue with us at this point. So City top, Arsenal second. Then it gets a little more interesting. Newcastle, Man United, and Liverpool all in the mix at this point. Liverpool is 1 point back of Newcastle and United, and they've played an extra game. But let's go to you, Dalton. Actually, Dalton, you're biased. We'll start with Mitch. Who you got? Who you got finishing third and fourth?
Let me take a look at the remaining schedule. So we've got Newcastle has.
It's not easy. Not easy.
Brighton, Leicester, and Chelsea. That looks like 7 points to me. If I'm that looks like 7. United has Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Fulham.
That sounds like 9.
That looks like 6 points to me.
Oh, really?
I don't know whether it's Chelsea or whether it's Fulham. That take. Yeah.
United's been terrible.
A sneaky draw
so
against Bournemouth would be poetic as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
God. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Newcastle finish third. I don't think Liverpool catch either of them though. I think United finish fourth.
You going United? Okay, United fourth then.
Yep.
Any disagreement, Dalton?
I hate what this team does to me, honestly. I 7 games ago, after that Chelsea Arsenal City stretch of games, I was like, it's over. Like top 4's gone. Just try to build on something the rest of the season. I've given up. We're not making Champions League. And then they win 7 in a row and make me actually think about getting my hopes up. And I think they're up. And up until this week, I've said no chance, just did it a little late. If this run starts a game or 2 earlier, maybe we have enough time, but it didn't. I think I'm going to do it. I'm just trying to think. All right, I'm going Man City, Arsenal, 1-2. United, Liverpool. I'm doing it. I think Newcastle are going to drop points against Brighton.
That's on Thursday.
I think Leicester. Yep, on Thursday. I think Leicester, in a fight for their lives, have to do something next Monday against them.
The Leicester team that you just watched.
Yeah. I know.
On the road
I
at
know.
Newcastle.
Yeah. I know. This is what Liverpool does to me.
Let him cook.
I get my hopes up, and I realistically, and in my mind, I make up these scenarios where this can happen, and I get my hopes up. And then at Stamford Bridge, it's a tough place to play. Maybe we get a 0-0 to end the season. Don't look at me like that, Mitch.
It's not a tough place to play recently.
They just drew with Leeds and got given 2 penalties. So let's not act like Newcastle are like world beaters right now.
No, but who did Chelsea just draw to?
Yeah, I know.
I love how Dalton's squirming and kind of like fidgeting and like trying to figure out.
I'm self-aware.
We've had Tommy and Mitch
but
fidgeting and Mikey fidgeting like this for weeks, trying to come up with a scenario that they can catch City. It's just the same thing. You're in a tough spot.
I told myself I wasn't going to do this. And then I watched Trent Alexander-Arnold play in the midfield. And it looks like we're the best team in the world. And then my hopes are up, and now I'm going to be crushed if we don't get top 4. So welcome to my life.
Real quick on Trent, I have more of a question than a comment. Some of the gorgeous grass cutter passes that he hits
Oh,
are sometimes under hit, and sometimes it feels like they're absolutely not the right ball to play. He'll play that long ball and he'll beat that first line, and then it'll go right to that left back, or it'll be too far for Salah, or it'll be too far across the field. Like those have to be inch perfect to really be good. Are there ever matches as a fan where it gets frustrating, where it's like, stop trying to make a fucking highlight pass and just play the simple ball? We know you can do that. We know you're physically capable of doing that, but it doesn't need to be 12, 15 times a game.
Yeah. If I wasn't in love with that man, I would say yes. But no, here's the thing. Like, I think actually it reminds me a lot of, we can bring back another American football reference, that you have to have that threat, which I think most people, everyone knows now with Trent, that threat is there. So maybe he doesn't have to do it 12, 15 times a game. But I think whenever he's like pulling it out, like if you're not watching every player on that back line, he's going to find them and he's going to hit them right at their feet. But there are times, like he has his games and his halves where not every ball, but there's some where it'll like the center back easily just heads it back to midfield and they're going the other way and it's a counter. But so it definitely, it can be frustrating at times, but I will take what he's doing now over like I'll accept that's part of it. I'll accept that. I don't care at all.
I think I don't think a lot of fans online are as in love or forgiving as you, because I feel like that leads to the dramatic like ups and downs of how he's viewed as a footballer, especially which everything's amplified. But like when he's good, and when he's bad, it looks really bad. And maybe he's not playing poorly, but he is giving the ball away when doing that. So like I get it. It was more of just an approach, but I got you.
The games where it's like the games where those passes are all hitting, there's nothing like it. Like it's awesome. It's beautiful. So
we got to keep in mind that he Trent Alexander-Arnold as a midfielder is kind of a new thing, right? I mean, like we got to give him some time to sort of settle in a little bit and get some games under his belt.
It's not the first time he's not new to passing a football.
No, but I just meant sort of the decision making and being in the situations that he's being put in and all that. I mean, in terms of how he looks in his new spot, like I think the sky is the limit for him there.
But ceiling's the roof.
There you go. Ceiling is the roof. I do like that one. All right. By the way, in terms of you trying to find a path to Liverpool finishing top 4, I think it's through United. I think that's your best.
You think
chance.
So?
I think so. Like I know Bournemouth.
They've been so good at home though.
Bournemouth and Fulham don't really have anything to play for at this point, but Fulham especially is just a tough team to play against. And what's the other game they got?
Chelsea, Fulham, I think, right?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Who knows about Chelsea these days?
If Liverpool finish above United this year, United fans will never hear the end of it until the end of time. I promise. It would be
your personal
more
pledge.
Satisfying than the 7-0. It would be the most satisfying thing in the world to jump United this year.
I mean, they've also got some injury problems. I do think that's your best shot. Your best path is through United.
I don't care how it happens. I don't care how it happens. I just hope it does.
We shall see. I think the game this weekend, you guys are the ones that play Villa this weekend.
Yeah, that's Villa game. And then Southampton on the last day.
I mean, Southampton, that's dead in the water. So if I were going to pick, I would probably go with Newcastle. So City, Arsenal, Newcastle.
I almost talked you into it. I almost did.
I'm gonna say Liverpool.
Oh, I did.
Somehow it happens.
You called me crazy 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. That's how it goes.
Now take it back because I don't want you to jinx this.
Maybe I'm jinxing it. Maybe that's what I do think that United probably deserve it more than you guys. They just feel like a team that deserves it.
Yeah, them and their plus 10 goal differential over 35 games. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's just a feeling. I really can't explain it. All right, bottom 3. So Southampton, they're gone, done, buried, dead, out. After that, it gets a little more interesting. Leicester. So we basically got Leicester, Leeds, Everton, Forest, the same teams we had last week. Leicester for me is gone. I'm just saying Leicester is out. They're gone.
Yeah.
So for me, we're down to 3 teams, 1 spot. Forest, Everton, Leeds. Man, this is tough. I don't even know. I've gone back and forth and sort of switched this up so many times. I don't even know where my head is at this point. I think I've said Forest more often than not, but I'm not even sure I believe that.
A lot of the Forest talk is because they're a new team. Leeds concedes way too much for me to have them stay up. It's every single week that it's 2+ goals. And that's just not a recipe for like a good stretch of that last 4 games. Who do they have? West Ham.
They have West Ham and Tottenham.
West Ham. Yeah. I mean, I think they draw you guys because you fucking suck, but
I'd say
I think we'll beat Forest. Palace will also beat Forest. That'll be both teams to score game, but Palace will win 2-1. I think Leeds go down. I don't like it, and it's bad for American football, but I think Leeds go down.
The smart money has to, I mean, I don't know about the smart money, but the odds on favor has to be Leeds based on the way they've been playing, based on how many goals they give up. You're right. I'm just not capable of sending them down. So I'm like sitting in the position that you and Mikey and Tommy were sitting in for basically 2 months, and we just had Dalton sitting in, where I'm just like trying to find a way for Leeds not to be that team. But it's gonna be tough. They have to stop conceding 2 or 3 goals every single game to even have a shot. And then last, as you said, West Ham away, Tottenham at home. They could beat Tottenham at home. Let's be honest. Yep. Anybody can beat Tottenham at this point. But they got a tough road.
Ellen Road on that last day of the season is going to be nuts.
Oh, 100%. And you got Forest, they've got Arsenal, probably a loss. Palace away. I'm not as confident as Mitch is, but I don't know. That is tough. For some reason, I really do think Everton stay up. Like in my mind, it's either Forest or Leeds. And I don't really know why that is, because Everton haven't exactly done anything to convince you that, oh, this team is definitely staying up, other than looking at their roster and being like, how is this team maybe going to go down?
Well, the one performance that kind of resonates with me is that 5-1 defeat. Watching them like play and watching their style of play finally come to fruition and everybody being on the same page is a first for that Everton team this season, but it was beautiful. I can't imagine a team like that going down. Right. And it's also hard to envision like Everton as a club being relegated. That doesn't process for me just yet. But that performance alone to me says you guys have the tools to stay up.
100%. I mean, and so the recency bias should suggest, well, they just got dog walked by City, but this City team is just different, and I don't think you can take.
Are we gonna hold losses to City against teams now? Like, come on.
No. And obviously, they look bad, but like every City makes everybody look bad other than Tottenham for some unknown goddamn reason. So I do think Everton has Wolves away and then Bournemouth at home. I think Everton is the safest of the 3 for me.
Yep.
And
those are also 2 teams that have nothing left to play for because they're both safe.
Nothing to play for. I'm going to stick with Forest. I've been saying it all along. I don't think Forest deserves to go down. Deserves is like for me the worst word you could ever use in soccer. But Forest, it feels like if they go down, it is so unfair. Like they just didn't get a fair shake the way the season played out. But I'm also not capable of saying Leeds are going to go down. So I'm just going to stick with Forest. Week to come. We have a big one on Thursday. Newcastle and Brighton. That ought to be a real interesting one. Not that like either one of the teams have that much to play with. Actually, no, Newcastle.
I'm the biggest Brighton fan in the world on Thursday.
Yeah, Newcastle
in the world.
Massive top 4 implications.
Yeah.
I forgot. I thought Newcastle had more daylight between them and
Oh no,
5th at this point.
They're in it.
They are in the muck and the mire at this point. So that will be an interesting game on Thursday. Any other game? I mean, every game involving Forest, Everton, Leeds, and Leicester is It's not going to be pretty necessarily, but
Hmm.
it's definitely going to be, worth watching or watchable. Which game stands out to you, Dalton, from the week to come?
So obviously all the top four teams I have or Newcastle United, Liverpool, I have a vested interest in, especially right now. So it would be Bournemouth, Man United. I do think there's serious danger of United dropping points there. They've been so bad on the road, especially recently. They cannot score away from home. This is probably a jinx, and I'm going to hate myself for it when they're up 2-0 in the 15th minute. That one I'm so intrigued by. And then that's really the games. There's a lot of games this weekend that mean like nothing. Like
There's Fulham
there are a
Palace. I was just
couple.
gonna say Fulham Palace means nothing. Absolutely
Tottenham
nothing.
Brentford really doesn't mean anything either,
As
unless
long
you
as
want
Tottenham
Conference
lose.
League.
No, I want
Yeah,
out. I want out of Europe. I do not
but then
want
of course
Conference
all
League.
the relegation ones. But I won't. I don't want to take Mitch's, so I'm just gonna say Bournemouth United. That one, I'm gonna have one eye on that one for sure.
Okay, Mitch.
I'm intrigued for different reasons. Betting wise, I love Fulham Palace. I love betting games that really don't matter because those are the like you ever bet like World Cup qualifying
Oh
matches.
yeah,
Oh God, it's
those are
the
the best.
sicko in me that loves those. So Fulham Palace, I will circle back for best bets
Best
later.
bets. Yeah.
I'm morbidly curious in Wolves Everton, not not even because of the relegation, but just because that's a really nice aesthetic game for me. And then City Chelsea is going to be fun because I feel like this is a bit of a showcase for the high priced Chelsea players. And it's going to be, uh, there's something poetic about Raheem Sterling's City walking in, and I don't know what the final is going to be.
Oh,
It's
they
going
can
to
win the
be
trophy
fun.
Sunday too.
They can, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
they could.
that is yeah.
It,
So that's
it's
a
a
big one.
possibility. I'm not going to say
Yeah,
it's going to happen, but you know
totally
that
forgot about that.
yeah, yeah. So that one everybody will be watching on Sunday. But Fulham Palace, I'll circle back to my best bet.
Yeah. My best bet is this one of them. One of my overtrains is definitely in this group of EPL games. I won't give it away. But in terms of the other game, I mean, like Newcastle, Leicester, that's obviously big. I mean, actually, there's some games that are huge, right? This Leeds West Ham game for Leeds. This is huge, massive, gigantic. Man, there's just so many. It's like hard to boil down to just one. So I'm going to be watching all of them except for that Fulham Palace game, which Sicko Goulet apparently has got circled.
I'm
um,
biased, but Liverpool Aston Villa is going to be a lot of fun. That game is going to be fun
Liverpool is just a fun team to watch. Like they've got both teams to score written all over them every game, other
until
than
I bet
when
it last week in my best bets. Yeah,
or when Leicester just completely stopped trying. But yeah, this Liverpool team is fun to watch because they have so much firepower, but they could also concede it at any moment. And Villa's good. Villa's just a good team.
yeah.
I think the one thing I took away from that Tottenham game this past weekend is that they're just a better team than Tottenham right now, like without question. I don't think that's a hot take. It's just like or a surprise. It is what it is. Let's hit rest of the world real quick before we close up with stoppage time. So rest of world. First up, we had the U20 World Cup roster was revealed, and so there's some interesting aspects to this. The games in the U20 World Cup, they start in what is it, like a week? Yeah, basically a
It's like
week.
next weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
May 20th is our first game. We play Ecuador. No, is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
sounds
Ecuador
right.
on May 20th, Fiji on May 23rd, and Slovakia on May 26th. So those are the games. In terms of the team, you know, this isn't going to be our best team of U20s, right? I mean, we're missing a whole bunch of guys. There's obviously a bunch of big name players. You got your Kevin Paredes's, your Gaga Sloninas, Cade Cowles. I mean, the list goes on and on.
There's
But
quality on the team, but it doesn't
there's a
look
ton of quality. There's a ton of quality, but there's these names that basically are not being allowed to play in the tournament, which it stinks. But it is what it is. Like a Paxton Aronson, who's not being left. He's not being released by Frankfurt. The two Chicago Fire players, Chris Brady and Brian Gutierrez. Gutierrez, by the way, he's been playing awesome this season.
Serious baller.
Who else? I know there was a Croatian club, Hajduk Split, isn't letting a guy go. I think LA Galaxy suggests, I don't think it's official, but they sounded like they're not going to give up Jalen Neal, which is a big loss.
They let Mauricio Cuevas go, though.
Did they? So
yeah.
I don't understand how they decide. I mean, like, I get it. Ezra Hendrickson wasn't letting Gutierrez and Brady go because he knew his job was on the line. Now that his job isn't on the line, Klopas is there. I don't know. Does that change things? Is now too late? Like, they can't be released? I don't know how it works, but it stinks. I actually wanted to ask Tommy his thoughts on coaches not letting players go for this. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to go play in the U20 World Cup.
Maybe you don't know the answer to this, but whose final decision is it? Is it the coaches? Is it the front office? And I wonder, I'm sure it's a case by case thing, but I wonder if there's any conversation about it. Like, hey, this would mean a lot to, Joey, because he's trying to break into the first team or the senior national team. And then it's, no, we need you to help us avoid relegation. Well, I'm not playing lately. Like that conversation can be copy and pasted amongst just about any American playing abroad right now. And I'm sure it's different case to case, but it sucks that it's ambiguous and the players don't have a ton of control over it.
Yeah. And what does it do to your relationship, you being a player? What does it do to the player's relationship with the manager, with the front office? Like a guy like Chris Brady and Brian Gutierrez is like, okay, I mean, like, they're not in a relegation battle, right? I mean, they would miss, maybe a couple games, obviously, and that's not good. They're both big players for the team, but like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to go play for the World Cup like this. And so, how do you then? I mean, does it have a lasting impact on the relationship with your coach or with the GM or whoever? And not just with Gutierrez and Brady. I don't want to just harp on them because it's not just them. But
the craziest one to me that you brought up is Paxton Aronson, because
he isn't even playing that much.
Frankfurt are currently in 8th. What are you fighting for? And he doesn't play. If he does, he gets subbed on. And
the thing with them is, aren't they still playing in a cup or something? Like, don't they have?
Oh, they're not in the Pokal, are they?
They might.
Even if they are, Aaronson's not going to start it.
They are. Oh, I'm sorry. They play Leipzig in the DFB Pokal. You're not going to bring Paxton off the bench, and if you are, that just means you don't have the depth to be in that. And not to hate on Paxton, but like, his time is better spent on that U20 national team, and I think his heart has to be there in a little bit too. You see all your boys that you grew up with at national team camps. You see all of them like representing their country. You want to do that. Every player wants to do that. It sucks.
Yeah. It's one of those weird, like, there's a lot of politics involved, and like, we don't really ever get the full story, so we don't really know. But yeah, it stinks. So I feel for those guys that can't play. And also guys like Pepe, like, he's not going to play because he's going to be playing with the senior team, but there's reasons he's not there. So point being, keep this in mind. May 20th versus Ecuador, May 20th, and that's a Saturday. These games are all at 2 p.m. I don't know if it's Eastern. I assume it's Eastern, but 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 20th, 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 23rd, and 2 p.m. on Friday, the 26th. That's Ecuador, Fiji, and Slovakia. And then whoever the hell we play in the knockouts, because we're definitely making the knockouts. All right, Champions League quickly. So we are down to the second leg of the semifinals here. And the first legs were both interesting. We had City and Real Madrid playing to a 1-1 draw. That was at Madrid. And then Inter Milan and AC Milan. Inter came away 2-0 winners at the San Siro, which is where they're going to be playing the second game. So that doesn't really change anything, especially now that road goals don't matter. So anybody here want to go out on a limb and say Real Madrid could do this?
Yes. Yeah.
Could do this. That's the wrong word. Are they going to do this? Real Madrid?
No.
Dalton's saying no.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
No, Mitch said they could.
Mitch said they could. They could. I do agree. Anytime you have Real Madrid on a Champions League night, they could.
Nobody,
yeah, but I don't think they're gonna. I think City got what they wanted in Spain. I think they're going home now. You obviously got to win. I feel pretty good about my chances if I was City, especially because Camavinga came off injured over the weekend, and he was one of the best players in the first leg. So
yeah, that's for sure. If he doesn't play.
He Mitch, still doesn't like playing at left back too.
Yeah, it's so funny. He keeps talking about
weird.
That.
It's so weird.
So you said Mitch, you said Real Madrid could, which I absolutely agree with. I've been burned way too many times to ever count them out of a Champions League. Do you think they will?
Yeah.
You're going Real Madrid?
Yeah, I do. Part of that is a little vindictive thinking. I don't need City to go and win the treble. I think that's a little too much. It's a little selfish of them. Also, part of it is Real Madrid on a Champions League evening cannot be discounted. I don't care what stadium you're playing in. That is a team where winning the Champions League is the expectation. It is not a goal. And I don't know. It felt, I don't think City got out of there with the result they wanted. I think City wanted to go there and beat them, and maybe were shocked isn't the right word, but surprised at how they matched up against a Real Madrid team that plays very differently than a lot of Premier League teams play. So I really think Real Madrid go through. I do not think it ends in regulation time. I think Real Madrid find a way through in this one. And then in the other leg, Inter are fine. That AC Milan team is not as good as Inter. They've done well this season. They've really done well. But I mean, Chelsea beat them early in the season. Come on. They've been lucky to get to this point, and now their shortcomings are being exposed.
Well, now they've got a little extra motivation now that the ultras gave them the game plan.
Teacher gave them talking to.
I'm sure that tactical advice and that really lit a fire under their asses. I'm sure.
Imagine if they win. Imagine if they turn it around though. Like the ultras are going to want to talk to them in the locker room before every game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe they should.
And we can cross that bridge when we get there.
No, they won't though. They're fine. Inter's going to advance for sure.
The big thing there is that Leao. Like they didn't have Leao in the first leg, and they looked like listless.
They're so bad without him.
Yeah,
he's
crazy.
He can't be your entire goal scoring threat going forward though. Their defense that really could have been 3 or 4-0 that game. They came in rapid succession, and there were good finishes. There were good goals as well, but there were far more chances than that score line reflects, and more quality chances on Inter's end.
Yeah, I would be shocked if Inter did not go through, but yeah, you never know. AC Milan, especially in the last few months, they've played some tough teams really tough, including Inter. So
we haven't really had like a Champions League comeback like that this year in any of the rounds.
No, we haven't had the storybook comeback just yet. It doesn't feel likely, but then again, it never does.
No.
Who knows?
Yeah. If I would be, let's see. No, I was going to say I'd be more surprised if Real Madrid went through than AC Milan, but I can't say that. Not this. Real Madrid is just too damn good in the Champions League, but I would be surprised. I got City going through. No question.
All right.
Last up, championship check-in. So we're down to the second leg of the playoff. Sunderland beat Luton Town 2-1 at home. I was at the Chicago Fire game with my guy Declan's Dave. We were watching the Fire game, but he had the Sunderland game on ESPN Plus on his phone, so we were watching both at the same time. That Sunderland game was it was more entertaining, let's be honest. And Sunderland fought hard. I thought they might have got a third goal, which would have been huge for them. They're up 2-1 though, going back to Luton Town. That'll be interesting. Luton is an incredible story. So is Sunderland. Like if either one of those two teams goes up, that would be wild. The other one, Coventry and Middlesbrough played to a very flaccid 0-0 sort of first leg where nobody really threw any punches and everybody, sort of played it safe. They're going back to Middlesbrough for the second one. I think Middlesbrough is probably just going to walk all over them. We shall see on that though. And then of course you got the richest game in world soccer a week from Saturday. And that will be at Wembley, obviously. Okay, let's finish up with Ivan Toney's best bets and GOAWs, also known as stoppage time altogether. So Ivan Toney's best bets. Well, when I said the overtrain is cooking, I meant it. We are cooking. We were cooking last week. We're cooking this week. The 3 games I gave out last week were Dortmund and Mönchengladbach, Adelaide and Central Coast Mariners, and Union Saint-Gilloise and Genk. All 3 of the games went over. Gladbach BVB was 5-2 at the A-League game, 2-1, and the Belgian League 3-0. So all 3 went over. I love that. So I'm gonna stick. I'll go first. I'll go first with Ivan Toney's best bets. I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna keep rolling with this overtrain, handing out winners, making my internet friends rich beyond wild belief. So I got a bunch of. Now I'm getting greedy. I'm getting really greedy. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm really getting greedy and helping. I'm just trying to help out too many people, probably. So it's going to come back to bite me. But I got games for you on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday, both Europa Conference League games. Both will go over. So we got AZ and West Ham. That's AZ going back home down 1-2. And then Basel going back home against Fiorentina up 2-1. Both of those games will go over. That's a promise. Friday, we got A-League. We got the second leg of the semifinals. Melbourne City is heading back home against Sydney. They're tied 1-1. That one is absolutely going over. Another one on Friday, Netherlands, second division. Oh, yeah, we're doing research. We're going deep here, boys and girls.
Oh, the Erste Divisie?
That's right, Erste Divisie.
Right.
And we've got Heracles, who are in first place, but by I think it's goal differential. They're playing young Ajax. Ajax is, young team. And Ajax gives up a lot of goals. That is absolutely going over. That is going over.
Don't bet them like you bet the senior team, Ajax.
Very different.
Same with young PSV. Do not do that.
and AZ Alkmaar as well.
Yeah.
So that's on Friday. Those are the 2 on Friday. The A-League, Melbourne City and Melbourne City and Sydney, Heracles and young Ajax. Then Saturday, Forest and Arsenal. Easiest over bet in the history of perhaps professional organized soccer. I mean, Nottingham Forest.
I'm betting the under now.
That's smart. That would actually be a smart move. But listen, Nottingham Forest, first of all, they have to go for it. Also, their defense stinks.
Yep.
Also, Arsenal is good. I'm going to give them that. They score, but they can also get scored on. They just gave up 3 to Brighton. So, I mean, like this game for me, Saturday of Forest hosting Arsenal, I would even go over 3.5. I don't know what the over-under line is, but there's going to be a ton of goals in that game. I'd go over 3.5, whatever the line is. And then Sunday, Genk and USG. It's the return match where Union Saint-Gilloise just got, they beat Genk 3-0 last week. Now they're going back to Genk, and I think it's a revenge game. I got over in that game as well. So there it is. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 over games. Oh, we are gonna get rich. We could retire. We could all be retired by this time next week. I'm excited. No need to thank me. Especially if they all lose. Definitely don't thank me then. But there's my over bets, my Ivan Toney's best over bets. And we're done. I'm out. Who's up? Who wants to go next?
I'll start looking at private islands.
There we go. I'll get the yacht. You get the island. I don't know, Dalton, get the helicopter.
Yeah, I got us on that.
So all right. So I also like that Arsenal Forest game. I like Arsenal first half money line. I think we score first if you like that. And I also think we go into the half up because for all the reasons that you said, Forest defense concedes. They need to go for it, and we can score a goal against Forest. I like Spurs to score in the first half against Brentford. Spurs score in
You
the first
are
half against.
you are on drugs.
Only the good one. And then I like both teams to score. Like I said earlier, both teams to score in Fulham Palace. That one with neither team really much to play for. That's what I like about it. I think it'll be a little bit of a showcase. Could be some fun ones. You might like a over under cards in that one. You can logic yourself on either side of that. I like it because it doesn't have any real implications, and that's why I want to bet it. You throw those together, it's plus 560. You're not buying a private island, but maybe you can look at the house on the private island.
Okay, I like it. We have very different strategies when it comes to those games that don't matter.
Yes.
Yep. I want nothing to do with them, and you.
Yep.
Okay, Dalton, what do you got for us?
I'm joining the overtrain. I'm going Bayern and Leipzig on Saturday at 11:30 Central Time. This could also be the game that decides the title in Germany, by the way, because if Bayern don't slip up against Leipzig, they're probably going to win on the final day of the season against Cologne. So I'd probably say this is one to watch anyway. Like, keep an eye on this one because this could, if Bayern slip up, this Dortmund could take a hold of it and win it, but also take the over because Bayern and Leipzig are always a ton of fun when they play each other, and it's always goals galore. So easy.
I like it. I like it.
And then we can buy like Florida. Like, we can buy a state instead of a private island.
I'm all set on
I don't know if that's the state I want,
yeah.
But
well,
I like where your head's at.
We can buy some state.
We can work on this.
Yeah.
Let's finish up. I liked all those bets except for Mitch's. Those were terrible. GOAWs. Who's got a GOA for us? Who wants to start us out here?
I got a couple of them. One is all the hot bombs that you guys posted on the internet yesterday. Love it every single year. Awesome. Another one is Fernando Torres for today getting a red card for coaching a youth game. Was said, I don't know, Sam, help me out on the direct quote. He was gonna beat his face in or smash his, I forget what he actually said. But he got red carded from a youth game. And then the final one, hold on, let me find it. I had this here somewhere. The final one is the referee. This is a negative GOA. The referee in the Sevilla and Real Valladolid game. I did not say that correctly.
Valladolid?
Valladolid, thank you. At halftime, ball going sprayed out from the 18 and headed towards midfield. Referee calls for halftime as the ball's being struck goalward. And it did look like a natural clearance of play, but whoever had come in for Real hit it, scored, but the half had been called at that time. They are now 1 point above relegation. They ended up losing that game 3-0, so you could argue that one goal didn't really matter, would have been 2, but everybody knows that a goal swings the momentum of a game, and you can't really go off the math of that. It's more so the concept of ending the half while a ball is in flight goalward. I've never seen anything like that. Actually, I posted a video of it today, and it happened in a much smaller league, and it was a whole thing. But I've never seen anything even close to that. And it feels like something that VAR should also be able to go take a look at and be like, hey, did that final whistle affect the ball's flight? Were any players involved that had either stopped or started playing because of that whistle? I don't know. This is uncharted territory, and because of that, it's a bad GOA for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was terrible.
That is the goal or the difference in promotion relegation. Like that's nuts, unheard of,
ridiculous. It was just a terrible call, and like it was not only like going towards the goal, it was like almost in the goal. It was the ref blew the whistle as the keeper was going to save it, and it went through him or went in. It was a terrible, just like ref show moment. Like, you have some awareness of how the game's going. Just a terrible. And if Valladolid end up going down, that goals change games. So yeah, they lost 3-0, but like that completely changes the whole tenor of everything. So that was a big time boo-boo. Dalton, who you got?
I got a few as well. So first of all, losers on the internet who don't let players have fun because Jesus Ferreira scored a goal. I think it was late in the game to
Like the
seal the
90th,
win
yeah.
against Austin. And he took off his shirt and did the celebration that is made famous by Messi, holding up this shirt with his name on it towards the crowd. The amount of people that were pissed off at Jesus Ferreira for doing a Messi celebration was insane to me. Like, is it not okay for players to have fun and enjoy a moment of them scoring a winner? Like, I don't care. Like, they were like, it's MLS. Come on. It's like, come on, man. Rival, he beat him. He can celebrate how he wants. Let him have fun. So, number one, losers on the internet. Number two, I've picked on Man United a lot this episode. Alejandro Garnacho. This kind of ties in to the last Goa. Taking off your shirt after scoring a goal to put your team up 2-0 against Wolves in the 94th minute or whatever. Incredible. I respect that. I respect that celebration to do that. Not a winner, just up 2-0. Up 2-0 against Wolves, by the way. Not like it's City or Arsenal, Liverpool, any of those teams. It's Wolves. But you know what? I respect it. Partially because I can't be a hypocrite and then criticize his celebration like that too. And last one is Curtis Jones, because we talk a lot about Trent Alexander-Arnold and his new role, but that also has moved the other midfielders further up the field. Curtis Jones, ever since this system change for Liverpool, has been incredible, and I have to apologize because I did not think he had the potential to be that good of a player. I thought he was a very average Premier League player. He's very much proving me wrong on these last 7 games. So got to give my flowers to Curtis Jones because he deserves it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. A brace today against a dead and buried Leicester. So fair enough. I will go with honorable mention to Justin Meeram, who is, a distinguished member of Sam Fam and has been a part of one of the most incredible interviews we've ever done on this show, back with Eric Gehrig. And, Justin was talking about his time playing in Iraq. He was talking about, discussing hair implants with Wayne Rooney. I mean, the guy is just a hilarious dude. But also, so he scored for his new team, Charlotte FC, against Falcons FC, a team that he used to play for, and in fact won MLS Cup with. And he did the respectful thing. He didn't celebrate. I really wanted him to. I was really hoping that he was going to just sort of rub it right in Falcons FC's face, but he did not. And that is a respectable move by him. Not that I have anything against the team or the fans. I just hate the front office still. But my actual Goa is Jason Tyndall, who I think everybody probably remembers from last week. And so here's the thing. We gave this guy all sorts of love, mostly hate, but, love and hate on this program, but also on the internet and everything. It became the whole thing about it. I guess it got so big that now he's become self-aware, or at least the Newcastle admin has become self-aware, because they posted a tweet that just had, a picture of Jason Tyndall and a goat. They were calling him the GOAT. I actually thought it was a funny tweet. I didn't mind the tweet at all. That's not why he's Goa, though. He actually had a moment to just be the person that Eddie Howe needed him to be on the sideline. Because he's on the sideline. He's basically attached to Eddie Howe's hip in the coaching box at all times. And the one moment that Eddie Howe actually needed somebody next to him, where was Jason Tyndall? Nowhere to be found. The Leeds fan comes out of the stands and basically goes after Eddie Howe on the sideline. And this is where Jason Tyndall should be, handling his business. This is why Jason Tyndall is supposed to be there. And where is he? He's nowhere. Probably going to, get a picture taken somewhere or something. But he was nowhere when Eddie Howe's moment of need, Jason Tyndall was not there. And so for that, he's my Goa for the second week in a row. Shout out to Jason Tyndall. Okay, so there's a door open in the background, so you can hear some small children, making noise. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's all we got this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Dalton. You're the best. Mitchell, you are the best. And we'll be back next week to crown a champion in the Premier League and maybe do some other stuff. But stick around. We'll see you guys then.